So I think that these indictments are a disaster for the country. I think they set a dangerous precedent for the ruling party to use police force in the middle of an election against political opponents. That's not justice. That is the politicization of justice. And I say this as somebody who just looked at the polls that have come out in the last 24 hours. I'm polling second in many of these national polls. It would be easier for me if Trump were eliminated from competition. I think that's what many Republicans, many in the Republican donor establishment are quietly rooting for as they prop up the other super PAC puppets. That is not how I want to win. I want to win this election by convincing the people of this country that my vision is going to be the best for leading our nation forward. That's how we do things in the United States of America. And I think that's why it's so important that people in my position, that's why I've been doing it, are vocal about opposing these indictments.
That on election night 2020, he left me and left the American people who supported him by standing behind the seal of the President of the United States in the East Room of the White House at 2:30 in the morning and telling us the election was stolen, when he had absolutely no evidence that it was stolen, and to this day has not presented any evidence that it was stolen here in Georgia or any place else in the country. I'm sorry. I disagreed with him on a bunch of stuff, and I disagreed with him when I was on ABC any number of times. I remember the screaming phone calls I used to get in my car on the way back from New York to New Jersey from him when I said something he didn't like. So it's not like we've been in lockstep and agreed, but yes, I supported him, and he disappointed me, and he abandoned me by undercutting our democracy and making the American people, a sector of the American people, feel like that election was stolen when it wasn't. That is beneath the office that he was privileged to hold, and as a result, he should never hold it again. Donald Trump's made himself a candidate for president under the most ridiculous circumstances I've ever seen in my life. There's nothing more selfish than what he's doing. He's been charged with 4 different crimes, and yet he still persists in insisting that he has to be a candidate for president. I don't think you would have seen George Washington or Thomas Jefferson or Abraham Lincoln be charged with those crimes, but if they had, they certainly wouldn't have run. And I never thought he was going to hold a press conference for 2 reasons. One, he has no evidence to present. And if he did, the first question from any one of you would be, what the hell have you been holding this back for 3 years? Okay, he has no evidence. He's trying to distract from the fact that he was charged in a RICO indictment here, 2 federal indictments, and another state indictment in New York. He wants to talk about anything other than that. And secondly, he is scared. He never listens to his lawyers. Listen this time, didn't he? Why? Because he's scared. He's scared. He is just a couple of steps away from that jail cell closing behind him. What you really need to think about is, you've been the nominee of this party twice. Do you not owe it to the voters to stand up there and allow them to compare you to the rest of the people running? And if you're so great, why are all these people running? Nobody ran against him in 2020. Why are all these people running now? I mean, he needs to answer those questions, and he owes it to the voters to do it. And not showing up in front of the largest audience that any of us will have seen at this point, including him, is not the way to do it. And he can make whatever strategic decisions he wants, but he's a coward.